Hello and welcome back to the Cat and Crypto video. I hope you guys are doing well, and today we are back with another banger PulseChain video giving you guys the latest and greatest of crypto news. And today we're going to be talking about and addressing the current state of PulseChain. Why are we down double digits? What does this mean for the rest of the year? The forecast for PulseChain, is it even possible for us to see a pumping within 2025, or do we have to wait a long time till 2026, unfortunately? Now, as you guys already know, I will probably say is, if you're ever in doubt, zoom out. We cannot put all the blame on PulseChain. And also wanted to mention another point, which is we don't want the good news to come out at this time when there's no real momentum being carried over from the macroeconomic side of things. Because of course, now if all of a sudden Richard Hart says, hey, here's the wallet, or here's a debank killer, let me tell you, it's not going to onboard that many people. We want the good news to come along when generally the market sentiments are positive. So unfortunately, guys, we have to sit this through. And as I mentioned in the previous video, the best thing to do is absolutely nothing. Okay, right now we need, and looking at the altcoin season index, it's very obvious that we are in still Bitcoin season territory, which means what? We need Bitcoin to carry on rallying up, which has been doing great. Ethereum, on the other hand as well, guys, it's been doing also great. Right now above 1.8k level. It's been recovering slowly, so hopefully we see the ETH BTC ratio, but I think right now Bitcoin is kind of the star of the show, so it's kind of the one with the highest pace of growth, I guess, right? And then usually there is a delay until Ethereum. We can expect it to outpace the rate of appreciation of Bitcoin, and then obviously from there is history, ladies and gentlemen. You already know that's where altcoins. So think about it as a flow chart, right? You have three kind of blocks here, and then obviously the arrows show the influx of money. And then obviously, I guess an initial arrow to Bitcoin, which comes from retail investors, comes from institutional investors through ETFs, etc. And just a quick reminder that actually Bitcoin people tend to say that it's a leverage of what? S&P 500. Because if you think about it as a risk curve, Bitcoin is like down here, and just before Bitcoin is basically the index S&P 500, which been doing really well. And I've seen a few articles say that it's had 9 green candles in a row. So for some reason this candle here is red on my side, but again, this is really good, because apparently having this many green candles in a row is quite rare for the S&P 500. And of course the fact that Bitcoin is a leverage of that, this is really great news. And can we reach back to all-time high? Because of course if we do so, it's going to be price discovery for S&P 500. It's going to be generally really good for, just in general, risk on assets. As I've covered in the previous video, go watch it, right? The US dollar index has been falling down. It will be inevitable for the quantitative easing to happen. So it's just a matter of time, guys. Okay. But moving on to other important metrics to keep an eye on, which by the way, you won't really be able to deduct this by just looking at the price charts. Okay, and this is why I tell people 95% of people fall under the herd behavior, which is what? People are just waiting for the green candles to happen to then decide, oh yeah, the bottom was, I was just waiting for the bottom to confirm the bottom for me to then buy. No, this is not how you should wire your brain. But then again, who am I? I'm not a financial advisor. What do I know? You know what I mean? I just know how to make money. But one of the things that I say is follow the smart money. Okay, don't wait till the price charts update, because that's a little bit too late, right? You want to follow the smart money. Look at the organizations, look at the institutions, look at the whales. What are they accumulating, right? We can look at World Liberty Finance here, but of course by Donald Trump and his family. Outside or excluding the stable coins, what are their largest holding is what? Ethereum, holding 22.16 million, and then obviously followed by wrapped Bitcoin. So this is, again, they know something that we don't know, and I possibly will never know what do they know, but I want to follow them. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's my kind of thought process here. And the same story goes to Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy. They're accumulating Bitcoin, and big shout out to Michael Saylor. He's a maxi for Bitcoin, and don't get me wrong, Bitcoin, guys, it's one of the lowest risks. It's still high volatile, but it's one of the lowest risks in terms of crypto assets, due to the fact that if you average out the yearly appreciation, it would be about, I don't know, 40%. year over year, by the way. And usually, yes, it will start to plateau because of the S curve of adoption. So we might see that number go down by, to 35% year over year, which is still amazing, still better than the stock market, still better than you'll ever see with, savings account, with fiat, etc. And by the way, they've been accumulating. This is, like, this is what you need to learn from these big whales and, obviously investment funds here, which is what he's buying up Bitcoin. No matter what the price is. The price is at all-time high, he's still buying Bitcoin. The price is at all-time low when everyone else is saying, oh my God, it's a scam, it's going to zero. He's still buying it. And if it's consolidating, he's buying it. Literally as recent as a few days ago, he purchased 1.42 billion Bitcoin. And what's crazy, by the way, is that he's almost at the 555 Bitcoin holdings. That's absolutely crazy, guys. That number is quite special for us people here in PulseChain. Hold on. Does Michael Saylor believe that there is a second best? Right? Could it be PulseChain? We shall see. But just in general, by the way, looking at the current kind of liquidation map, which is something that I like to see, because usually with liquidation map, it kind of creates a price magnet. And currently right now, guys, if Bitcoin, looking at the 30-day perpetual leverages, if it reaches around 100K plus, there will be $1.4 billion worth of liquidations. As compared to, by the way, if it goes down to 86,000 priced Bitcoin, there'll be around 180 million. So absolutely not a comparison. So if you think about it, going to 100 gets that price magnet over there. And there's a whole other metrics that I'm looking at that makes Bitcoin more attractive at the 100K level. So for example, I'm going to quickly look at the difficulty, network difficulty. This is a really, really good one. A relative measure of how difficult it is to mine a block for the blockchain. You can also look at stuff like the hash rate. You can see that we are nearing all-time high on the difficulty. And of course, that basically means the demand is very high, but the price does not reflect that. Usually the price is very correlated with the difficulty. As it goes up, the price goes up. But for some reason, the price is extremely undervalued. So this is why when I put the cursor around here, it should be around 100K plus. So yeah, Bitcoin is undervalued. That is it basically is a fact. It's a non-financial advice, but a friendly advice fact. You know what I mean? But just want to remind people that there's actually a lot of good news. Looking at just in general, in terms of geopolitical news, because unfortunately, like it or not, it's kind of the trade-offs that we want here. Do we want a pro-crypto president? Well, it's going to come with the negatives, which is, of course, that geopolitics will affect the crypto market. But in some good news, at least here, China quietly exempts tariffs on 40 billion worth of US goods, Bloomberg reports. We'll see. Has there been negotiations? Have they actually got on a phone call on Discord? Did they talk something out? Did they play Uno and they're like, okay, you got to take the deal now? You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on, but this is good news though. Okay, we like to see this. We want to see international relations, and I know Donald Trump is the best chance for America to retain their basically crypto, or to retain their dominance in the crypto industry. Because guys, what's crazy is that there's a picture right here. Yeah, this one. This is a war no one is talking about. The United States government, they're holding around, and this used to be actually 210,000 Bitcoin. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to assume they sold 10,000 Bitcoin. But yeah, they now hold around 200,000. China's the second biggest country in terms of holding Bitcoin. We do not want them to lead the market. Okay, that's not good. Because think about it, guys. What are all these stable coins? What currency are they in? They're in United States dollars. Imagine all of a sudden the currency changes to the yen or wherever it is. I mean, it's not going to be that fun for us anymore. So we need to retain that. And we do love the fact that, even Pulsechain, by the way, believe it or not, it's technically made in the USA because majority of the validators are in the US. So that's also really, really good news. But going into other news here, we got from Watch Guru. Says Senator Cynthia says passing the Bitcoin Act is the only solution to our nation's 36 trillion debt. So yeah, if you guys didn't know, America owes 36 trillion, right? And then Crypto T here says, have they considered to stop printing the money? I think we're far too late to consider that as an option. As a matter of fact, printing the money is the only way for them to literally get themselves out of trouble. Right? And this is what I said. I said it's impossible. The debt has grown too far where inflation is almost the only choice to fix the debt problem. It's really just delaying / masking it. They're basically just kicking the can down the road. They're doing that all the time. Because if you think about the business cycle, which by the way is very correlated to the whole crypto market, how it's 4-year cycle. Looking at the global liquidity index, it's like a sine wave as well. Remember, right? We go through this loop, which is the quantitative tightening and then quantitative easing. Yeah, we need to do this, right? And then I said with every business cycle, they have to debt roll over by printing their way out of trouble and kick the can further down the road. So in general, this is actually kind of good for us because remember, we are on the side of the risk on assets. So if they're going to use Bitcoin to pay off the debt, that's really good news in general, right? Because they're going to hold on Bitcoin, they're going to leverage it. And I think they mentioned in the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve that they want to make like billions of revenue per year with Bitcoin. So for us to reach at that level, the market cap most definitely would have to surpass gold, which is very, very bullish. Remember, again, guys, a win for Bitcoin is actually a win for the rest of crypto. So yes, here I'm talking about Bitcoin, but this is really good for PulseChain in general. Okay, and also Donald Trump Jr. at some point was following Richard Hart, so he is probably keeping up to date, and of course he maybe is not allowed, or he doesn't want to follow Richard Hart because of the fact that he's technically still wanted in the Europol, Interpol stuff, and hopefully hopefully his lawyers is able to kind of get that waved off, I guess, right? But in other news in terms of crypto, this is one of the latest messages that he put in the Truth Social, because a lot of people were reflecting, saying, hold on, Donald Trump has been in the market for 100 days now. Has he done any good? And a lot of people are saying absolutely not. Right. And I do think 100 days, by the way, it's not that much time. But this is what he said. This is Biden's stock market, not Trump's. I didn't take over until January 20th. Tariffs will soon start kicking in, and companies are starting to move into the USA in record numbers. Our country will boom, but we have to get rid of the Biden overhang. This will take a while, has nothing to do with tariffs, only that he left us with bad numbers. But when the boom begins, it will be like no other. Be patient. Cool, man. Listen, either way, I'm holding. So I hope you're right, Donald Trump. I hope you're right. But in more Bitcoin news, the Bitcoin supply in exchanges, guys, have hit a 5-year low. And then here it says, meanwhile, MicroStrategy just added 15,000 Bitcoin that we just covered. 1.4 billion purchase. ETFs are stacking. Sovereign wealth is circulating. Very, very interesting stuff. And you can see here itself, it says just in 5 trillion. Asset manager Fidelity says Bitcoin supply on exchanges is dropping due to public company purchases. And our friend here from Kraken, increase demand, limited supply, do the math equals number go up, my friend. You know what I mean? Will Kraken be the first centralized exchange to list us in 2025 and beyond? I hope they get the W, because actually, fun fact, Richard Hart, one of his favorite centralized exchanges, because obviously he doesn't like them in in general because of obviously the counterparty risks and middlemen, etc. But he did say out of all of them, Kraken would be his favorite. So we really hope, we really hope they actually list us. Hopefully, that could be something in the works. And another thing I want to show you guys, right? Remember, the contrarian. This is why a lot of people do sentimental analysis. Like, it's an actual way of, gauging what the majority of the public is thinking, so that you can do the opposite. Expect the unexpected, right? Effectively, in a way. This is a screenshot from our friend Somi here. It says the market is only given 14% chance of Bitcoin hitting 200K this year. The market is underexposed, right? That means, guys, if majority of people is anticipating oh, for 110,000, make 120,000, 130,000. That means they're probably gonna try to sell or be like, oh, I'm gonna be so smart. I'm gonna say to everyone that, oh yeah, Bitcoin's gonna go to 130K, but I'm gonna sell at 120K, right? They're gonna try to front run each other, and then guess what? It actually goes to 200K, and they sold at 120. They're like, okay, yeah, it's gonna retest. I'm gonna be able to buy again. You know what I mean? But not actually, it's gonna carry on going up. And they're going to have to buy at more expensive prices. They're going to FOMO back in, guys. They're going to FOMO back in. This is why, and this is statistically been researched, which is being a trader compared to being an investor, you actually could lose up to 70 or possibly more than 70, but an average of 70% of gains by just being a trader. Because then the higher the number of trades that you do, the more likely you're going to make a wrong decision. The more likely you're going to sell a profitable trade too soon. The more likely you're going to do the wrong move by, FOMOing in or FOMOing out. The two types of fear. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is why I tell people, just believe, bro. Believers only cycle. Look at how 2024, look at how it went, by the way. Look at how it went. A beautiful win. I have to give a shout out to UFO, to the PTG ecosystem, to the Atropa ecosystem. I understand Atropa right now. God knows what's going on. Is he building something? What's going on with PDAI, etc., etc. I'm just saying, in general, 2024, guys, we were the highlight, one of the biggest highlights of the altcoin industry in general. And I know Solana was technically the unicorn, but actually a lot of people were onboarded into PulseChain because of PDAI. Literally just because of PDAI. I've had people reach out to me and be like, Khaled, can you help me get on to PulseChain? I just want to buy PDAI and that's it. I want to buy PDAI and hold it and move on with my life. They didn't want to learn more about PulseChain. They were like, I just want to buy PDAI, hold it, and that's it. That's so crazy to me. I was like, wow, bro, you don't even know about PulseX? Like, PulseX is so bullet. And I would tell them, like, hold on, you want to mitigate against ecosystem level risks. Have a portfolio. Let's create a pie chart and let's slice it up so you can actually segment your risks, etc. But I'm telling you guys, give respect where it's due. Teddy bear. Can we show the rest of the crypto market how meme coins are truly should be made? Ran by communities, not artificial communities or even non-existent communities. When you have celebrities launching their own meme coins, when you have stuff like Pumped Up Fun, right? It's crazy at that point. It's like a casino. And I don't know, and I say this while we have pumped up tires, but it is what it is. Obviously, I'm going to let people trade. It's technically a net positive because it burns pulse. Do I participate in it personally? No. No. I won't really speak much about them. I don't believe like Pump and Elon and stuff is part of the core ecosystem. I don't, guys. They're just JPEGs at the end of the day. Really, and that's just my opinion. Listen, I'm not going to try to FUD them. This is just my thoughts. This is why, if I don't like something, I'm just not going to speak about it. I don't need to go out of my way to mention it and be like, oh yeah, don't buy this. No, I didn't say that. And plus, there literally could be money to be made, and people have had made money a lot. And I'm still holding some of the pump stuff, which is like the Cardano one, because that one was funny with Charles Hoskinson. That was really funny actually as a meme. And a few others as well, like you guys know. And I've traded a few others like the PDAI one, but of course there's no longevity in those guys. There's no longevity. It's just like, oh, what's the trend? It was at that time it was a PDAI, yada yada, but we're gonna move on to other news, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of Richard Hart. And this is where we dig in a little bit more into PulseChain, okay? And there's actually been a little bit eventful here. And now a lot of people will say, unfortunately, this makes us look bad, but I think it's necessary for us to talk about this before we move forward. This is kind of a maturation kind of phase that we have to go through. It will be painful, and it's very unfortunate because websites like GoPulse have actually been very amazing. I've used this to share it to people to be like, hey, look at this. This is like PulseChain, and they look at this very polished, professional looking, slick website. It's a great representative kind of for what PulseChain is, right? But if you guys don't know, they've had a sacrifice phase, which again, listen, I'm not going to say that don't do this, you're going to get scammed. No, I don't know that you're gonna get scammed. It's probably not a scam. Right? But am I gonna participate? No. Okay. Nobody's like Richard Hart. I sacrificed in Richard Hart, and to be quite frank with you guys, if Richard Hart made another sacrifice, I'm not gonna sacrifice. Okay, this is not the previous bull run anymore. Sacrifices and in general pre-sales are not that interesting, right? No, thank you. But you can see actually if you go here, there's around 4 days left for people to sacrifice. You scroll down here, you can see people around $281,000 worth of sacrifice have went into it for a token called Go, right? And not a lot of people liked it. Okay, a lot of people were very vocal saying like what's going on, and there's actually, I guess, even deeper. The story goes even deeper. And what's crazy, before we talk about the story behind this, Richard Hart, and what blows my mind is how quick they were able to create a replacement for the stats website for PulseChain, right? And I understand it doesn't have all the features for GoPulse, but it's just so quick, the turnaround time, where they upgraded or updated PulseChain.com. Look at this right now. This is PulseChain.com, guys, right? It has the price charts from all-time low. And unfortunately, it doesn't have 24-hour or 7 days. You probably did it because, of course, right now there's a low price action. But it looks very beautiful. I really do like this. And this does show actually when you put it on all-time low for new people who are coming to PulseChain. Yeah, you're getting one of the best prices ever. Look at this. You're only at 76% from the all-time low, from the cheapest it ever was. Same thing with Pulse. You're only late by 8.9%. With PulseX, you're only late by 1.3x. But INC, you're only late by 1.8x. That's it. Imagine being late 1.8 to a 100x, to a 500x. You know what I mean? Not financial advice, but I'm just saying. Think about it that way, like a long term. Guys, PulseChain is going to be here for bull runs to come, right? Next bull run, guess what's going to be the third cycle curse? Solana, BNB. But PulseChain, we're still thriving, baby. First cycle ecosystem. We're going to be like the black hole for Ethereum liquidity, guys. You don't even know this yet. We're at that phase where PulseX is very low in liquidity. And this is done by design, guys. If you look at the stats, by the way, it's very beautiful. You can see here, we have around 15 million when we used to have almost half a billion in liquidity, guys. We were like top five most liquid chains in all crypto. We were, but now we're probably around top 20, around there. And this is all by design, guys. Remember, liquidity is like the weight effect, right? The more you have, the more capital is required for you for the price to appreciate or depreciate. So effectively, liquidity is a double-edged sword, is all I'm trying to say, right? It's a cushion, but at the same time, for the cushion, it comes with the trade-off of now having too much price stability. But now if you have low liquidity, it increases volatility and makes it where that, the less capital required to make more X's. Simple. And there's clips of Richard Hart literally talking about the best time to get into something is when liquidity was low. And he even compares that to Bitcoin. One of the best times to get into Bitcoin when what? When people called it a scam. When it was very hard to buy. They were rarely on any centralized exchanges. Right? The only centralized exchange at that time was like what? Mt. Gox, which was was getting hacked left and right. They sold it to another person who was careless. You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of backdoors. What's going on? Like, nah. You know what I mean? Like people's accounts got drained. Not great, bro. The best time to get into something, and it's very hard to get into, because right now PulseChain, technically, guys, you might think it's very easy in DeFi and stuff because you've been here for multiple bull runs, right, or multiple years. But to the average Joe, to the average retail investor, it's actually very hard to get into PulseChain. Oh yeah, you have to, you have to get Ethereum and then use this bridge, connect this bridge. Oh yeah, I forgot, you have to get your MetaMask and then connect the MetaMask, and then turn your Ethereum, do a bridge thing. Oh yeah, and then add your PulseChain network and then click claim. You have to wait a few, it takes 30 minutes. Oh, is it taking 5 hours? Yeah, don't worry, that's fine. You just have to wait. Yeah. Oh, send me the transaction hash. Yeah, it's fine. It's confirmed. Oh, and then click claim, and then oh shoot, did you just send yourself wrapped Ethereum? Hold on, let me send you Pulse for the gas fees. Yeah. Did you receive it? Oh, is it saying? Oh, that's MetaMask. It doesn't estimate the gas fees. Did you get your thing stock transaction? Oh yeah, use this bot. I am stuck bot. Do you guys get me? You know, like we actually need to solve this accessibility and easeability for in general, for like custodial wallets, or sorry, non-custodial wallets. We actually need to solve this. We need to make DeFi easier, more accessible. And I know for a fact that Richard Hart is working on a wallet that kills DBank, that kills Rabi wallet. He mentioned this in a to-do list way before PulseChain was even launched, guys. And this, looking at stuff like this and how polished this website was and how quick they were in terms of turnaround, because they replied quick. They're like, whoa, GoPulse is tripping up, bro. Like, talking about a sacrifice, you know what I mean? And the news. Look, guys, if you go to PulseX.com, the stats right here, this used to be GoPulse.com. They changed that now to PulseChain. And big shout out to, they even added 0x Coast. Big shout out, because they deserve this. These people, they're actually making PulseChain look and feel professional. They're providing a service for on and off ramp directly from a bank, from fiat straight to PulseChain. I've had people use this. It's amazing. I haven't used it myself personally, but shout out to 0x Coast. And they even added the pump tires here. But what's crazy to me was like, whoa, they replaced GoPulse with PulseChain.com. You know what I mean? Like, that was very quick. A quick turnaround. And so yeah, if you scroll down here, it's very beautiful actually. It's very slick. It shows you other stuff with Hex Scout. I'm still gonna give a shout out to Hex Scout, even though they blocked me on Twitter. And I know why, and it's something to do with the fact where they mentioned that they're gonna compile a list of the influencers that are talking about PDAI, and they're gonna say they're gonna, publicly put them in a board and say like, oh, these are the, I don't know if they call it scammers and whatever. And I literally commented, I was like, okay, we actually need to define what it means to support the PDAI narrative, because a lot of people like me, for example, I believe in PDAI, what's up? But I also, at the same time, even if I don't believe in PDAI, I'm still gonna report the news and talk about the latest news about PDAI. So let's define what are the requirements. And I said at the same time, I don't think this is the type of route that we want to go down, which is, basically you're burning bridges. You're gonna mention Somi, you're gonna mention other people that talked about PDAI, and you're gonna make them look as if they're net negatives to the ecosystem. When people like Somi, for example, right, he talks way more than just about PDAI. He's one of the people who I was watching at the beginning in 2023 about PulseChain, and he helped me understand, oh yeah, the core. Oh yeah, what's the lore of PulseChain, lore of Richard Hart? And then I started doing my own research as well. So let's not burn bridges. So I literally provided, guys, this is a very constructive criticism comment. And I was like, okay, let's define this. And I don't think we should go this route. They blocked me. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, what? Bro, you're an app. You're not supposed to like block people. But I'm still going to give them a shout out. Fair enough, right? Yeah, anyways, looking at these links here, it says bridge, swap, mine, launch, and then buy via bank. Given the link, you can see that to 0x Coast. Pretty cool, good looking website here. And talking more about how to buy, etc. and connect with the website. I'll make another video talking about the lore of PulseChain and what is PulseChain and in terms of a timeline. So stay tuned for that for sure. Yeah, in terms of other actually good news, PWBTC is actually on Forbes. What? The price chart is there. Like, look, if I refresh, it actually shows the latest price, which is absolutely crazy to me. Same thing with the PDAI, guys. Like, what's going on? You can see here, all-time high was at 3 cents, and right now we're at a 0 point something. What's the price here? Yeah, 0.009. So cool stuff, man. Like, we're now on Forbes. So that's good news. And this is another tweet here that by the way, a big shout out to everyone who's following me. I'm very close to hitting 4,000 followers, so go follow me on my Twitter. I just wanted to make a tweet here to remind people, knowledge is a precursor to making money. Remember, don't follow the crowd, follow the information. You're already winning if you know about PulseChain. And here I give a reference to Wilson's law. If you prioritize knowledge and intelligence, money will continue to come. So there is that. And then here it says an example. Many people do things better than you, not because they are more capable, but because they have more information than you. In our efforts to improve our professional skills, we often lose sight of another important thing: information. Well summed. Like, that's a beautiful way to put it, guys. Okay, we all have internet access. We all have computers, laptops, and phones. We all have 24 hours in a day. We all have ears, eyes. Obviously, I'm very grateful to God for having a healthy life, etc. Forever grateful, actually. I'm just saying, like, majority of us kind of have the same. Do you know what I mean? Like the same tools. It's all about what differentiates us is the time that we put in productivity. And remember, you are basically a culmination of whatever you consume. I also want to say, like, it also comes down to the people that you choose to watch. Okay, like, are you learning something new every single day? Are you putting time to, improving your knowledge about something that you're passionate about, etc.? Just be wary about that as well, in terms of like self-development and improvement. But yeah, in terms of now going back to GoPulse here, and there's a little bit of lore here, and I'm not going to read through this whole tweet, but they basically talk about how the person behind GoPulse was actually a developer, or basically a team member or founder actually of Hex Scout, but I'm going to assume he's a developer of Hex Scout, and he was supposed to develop the app for launch day on PulseChain, but then it turns out he mysteriously left to then work on GoPulse, and he didn't tell anyone about it in that meantime. And then they're basically saying, like, okay, we don't really know who the guy is. He's still anonymous. And they're saying that actually in the past, in almost December 2024, they hired this agency to kind of make a sheet that shows all the attractive stuff about GoPulse, because they wanted to offer other companies to buy them, basically. So there's that. Like, think about it. Are they doing a sacrifice for reasons of making them inflate their worth, basically? Look at this estimated asset value, 20 million. Are they thinking about selling their thing for 20 million, and they're like, oh, the sacrifice will help actually boost that, so let's get the sacrifice out? I don't know. I'm gonna leave that there, basically, and the whole story with how it's a scam and stuff. I'm gonna leave that to you guys. Please be careful. I don't recommend to go into any sacrifices. To be very honest with you guys, nobody's going to be like Richard Hart. Okay, I don't care if people do, oh, the no expectations, oh, the sacrifice, oh, no, you're not Richard Hart. Please don't even speak about sacrifices. No. You know what I mean? So anyways, we're gonna move on, and guys, listen. I believe in PulseChain, and it's unfortunate that we have to go through times like this where it kind of sucks. It does. It kind of sucks, but I keep it very simple. I believe in the core 7. I believe in the blue chips of PulseChain. I don't need anyone else to tell me why I should not be bullish on them. I don't need anyone to tell me, to remind me to, you know what I mean? Like, to stay bullish on PulseX. No. I make my own decisions. I'm an independent thinker. You guys have actually been very amazing. I love my community on my Telegram, link in the description. That's all I need, bro. That's all I need. I don't need someone to show me a new project and then for me to go all in on that. No. I really believe in what I'm holding, and it's going to be worth the wait, because I know this is a believers only bull run, and I know for a fact once we get good news and that momentum starts building up, we're going to start seeing very good news, guys, on PulseChain. We just have to wait it out, and it will come in the right time. It's actually crazy how everything times out. Like, same thing with the PDAI negative news. It kind of happened when the macro side of things were also very bearish. Do you know what I mean? It's all timed almost in like a simulation way. But guys, listen, I'm gonna end the video there, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I shall catch you guys in the next video, where it's going to be very, very interesting. I am going to do a PDAI update video as well, and a bunch of other videos that are going to be very, very interesting. But I'm going to end the video there for now. I won't tell you. And I appreciate you guys for watching. You guys have actually been very, very amazing. I love all the comments, and I read them all. Comment down below. It helps boost the YouTube video and the YouTube algorithms. And of course, join the Telegram community. You can support me by becoming a YouTube member, etc. You guys already know. Watch my courses, link in the description. Give it a read. Is it right for you? Enroll and learn, especially at these times when, okay, it's very hard to make money. The next best thing is increase your knowledge, guys. Increase your knowledge. You will be able to leverage it and make more money from it. I promise you this. I promise you. I'm going to catch you soon. And big shout to the man above. Trust in the process, trust in the God, and take care.